Happy Halloween! Yeah.
Yeah.
You know the visual novel's good when you get a warning.
Whoa. And I like how it specifies suicide from tall places.
Well, yeah. Of course. Do you want to control the mouse?
Sure. Presented by Fornoki. Oh, I like the text effects.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Blood?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just start.
Yeah. Do you want me to be narrator?
Sure.
Right. I descended through a starry sky. My long blonde hair and red cape flew wildly as I looked to the ground below me with my blue eyes.
This is like a novel opening.
Yeah. Falling, falling, falling. I was falling. Down this rabbit hole with no start nor end. I was falling.
Yeah. But I bet it was like a novel in that it was describing the character like we couldn't see her.
Well, yeah. It's a visual novel.
Yeah, but it was clearly written as a novel first without regard for the visual aspect.
Yeah. Where had I gone? Where could I go? As if I were forgetting something very important, I fell down, down and down, through a sparkling, shining darkness, too bright to be dark, too dark to be bright. Is it loud for you?
A bit. Woo.
I must have been chasing after someone, after something. Like a girl whose curiosity was piqued by a rabbit with a watch. I was falling, 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 down, 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 again, again, again.
I noticed that she likes repetition a lot.
Yeah. This endless well seemed to lead everywhere, yet nowhere at once. Either the hole extended very deep, or I descended very slow. Was I truly even going downward? Perhaps this was all a dream, a fever dream, or in more words, a fantasy that would be as soon forgotten as it was had. I held just one certainty. I was Alice. Alice was me.
Yeah. Good girl, Alice.
Good job, Alice.
I right-clicked.
Oh no, all of my saves. Now then, just how long was I supposed to keep falling?
Forever.
Forever. The air brushed past my fingers, my cloak ruffling upward. A quiet humming breeze caressed my cheek. What was that?
It seems the power went off.
Huh. Well, that's not good. Oh?
It's a rave.
It's a rave. It's Halloween, baby. That is... I'm gonna go turn the light off. Thank you. No seizures for me. I'd rather just be in the dark than have to deal with that.
Yeah, you know what? This is more atmospheric.
Yes. Oh, the internet's down too.
Yep.
As if I could hear someone's voice, a pleasant voice, a woman's voice. I strained my ears for whispers in the wind. Alice, what a time for madness. Without a bit of fear or vertigo, should you not have focused on topics more pressing?
Like politics.
Ah, lovely. Like the darkness, or the light, or how you could awaken from this dream.
I want mac and cheese.
Ah, yes, these are the importance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I were in this situation, I would be wondering what's for dinner.
Well, yeah. But even now, you were just falling, falling, falling. I guess I'll be Alice as well.
Okay.
What does it matter? What does it matter? With a thump thump, I came upon soft grass, and the fall was over. Not a bit hurt, I forced myself to my feet. A Up above my head, the firmament, I haven't read that word since the Bible, whence I fell had not a tear in its blue canvas. Down about my eyes, only unfamiliar surrounded me. I started on exploratory stroll.
Exploratory?
Yes. Indeed.
Is this who you're mad about not dating?
Yeah. I wanted to date this girl so bad. Soon I stumbled upon a rabbit who looked like a girl, or a girl who looked like a rabbit. Perhaps the correct answer was that she was both a girl and a rabbit.
She does have the human ears.
Oh. Yes.
That's something I always look out for when there are characters with animal ears.
Yeah. Well, you know, who doesn't have 4 ears?
Yeah.
All the better to hear you with, my dear. She had white hair and floppy rabbit ears, pale skin and purple eyes. Her hair was tied into 2 low ponytails by white ribbons, a clock pin adorning her bangs. She wore gloves, an oversized blue coat with golden accents, and a red vest over a dress shirt tied with black ribbon. She also had khaki pants tucked into boots. She looked quite scared as she stood in the forest clearing. She was even holding her hands to her chest. Not lingering much longer on the species of the rabbit before me, I called out to her.
Oi.
Excuse me? Calling out to her caused her to jump. Where was this place? Why was I here? How could I leave to return home? I thought of what to ask her, but she recognized me as soon as I spoke, so my questions were lost in my mouth unasked. She looked to me with troubled eyes.
Alice?
White Rabbit?
Have you seen Her Majesty? Do you know where she's gone? Where she could go? Her Majesty, the Red Queen. She must be taking a vacation of sorts. I only wish that she could have left this little rabbit a note. I'm in a bit of a panic, you see. The land can't run without its queen.
She then took on a distracted look.
Do you like how I gave her concerned medieval peasant voice?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Please let me know if you catch sight of her.
I nodded. Who this Red Queen was, I had not a clue, but a tingling deja vu. Still, my acceptance of the request let the White Rabbit breathe out a sigh of relief. Just as I prepared to pose my own questions, she straightened her back in surprise.
I'm afraid I have to go. I'm going to be late.
The White Rabbit dashed off. I wanted to ask some questions. Never mind that. Follow her, Alice! Although I chased after her with only a moment's pause, when I turned a corner she was nowhere to be seen. There was only a forest path before me. I found myself in a garden meticulously kept. There was a large white gazebo in the center with a table and chairs for tea. Tailing the rabbit, I barely dashed a few paces. I hadn't realized such a place was so close by. Rather, I hadn't realized I had run this far. Ooh.
A conjecture tickled my mind that this world I fell into was a magical place, one with paths that pointed to one way but twisted to another.
Conjecture?
Conjecture.
Okay. What an explanation. Much more far-fetched than just me not knowing where I was running. I took a moment to catch my breath.
Sorry, I was thirsty.
Glancing around, I began my walk about the garden. Flowers and greenery all around, but not a person in sight. This place was beautiful. I wanted to meet the person who made it. Not quite a gardening person myself, I still appreciated a pretty place. I felt a swelling excitement to explore what sights could be seen. A reminder of reality then dampened my joyful curiosity. I wanted some answers, a way out and back home. As pleasant as dreams were, one had to be able to awaken from them before they turned into nightmares. Whether this was a dream or reality had still yet to be seen.
Pinch yourself.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'm awake.
Yeah. That's pain.
Yep. Step, step, I walked around. Hop, hop. I peered over the bushes. Soon enough, I discovered the heart of the garden where one might sit for tea. I spotted a white-haired girl in the garden.
She looks like she could be the rabbit's sister.
Oh, yeah. To amend my previous thoughts, wouldn't it be right to say that I rather also appreciated a pretty person? Her hair was long and reached her shoulders, her skin pale and her eyes of light purple. She was also adorned with a regal blue and white dress that was so long it hid her feet.
Is this the White Queen?
Yes. Her expression was quite distant and calm. I noticed bandages wrapped upon her right hand, which was gently clasped over her left in front of her. Frivolous thoughts flew from my mind as our eyes met. Her gaze seemed to beckon me over, so over I went to speak with her. She opened her mouth to speak.
Are you enjoying the garden?
Maybe I should give Alice a British accent. The garden is beautiful, eh?
The gardener will be happy to hear that from you. However, if you have come here now, you should be searching for something. We should first introduce ourselves.
I don't know why, but whenever I do accented voices, they always turn into other accents.
Yeah, same. She gave me a sad smile.
I am the White Queen.
Just like with the rabbit, for reasons unclear to me, I already knew who she was. Here, that should be as good as a name. Your Majesty! I don't know what accent I'm doing. My name is Alice. My name's Alice. She frowned.
Don't stand on ceremony, Alice. I'm not someone you need to speak with particularly respectfully. Welcome to my garden in Wonderland.
The sad smile returned to her face. Wonderland. I tasted the word on my tongue. Tastes like raspberries. I can't quite remember why or how I'm here. Not at this garden, but Wonderland. Once again, she frowned because my accent changed once again. I was falling, and I couldn't remember why I was falling. I was simply falling until I fell no more. Alice is a Republican.
She's from the Deep South.
I'm from the Deep South. I'm sure I've forgotten something very important. That pained smile returned.
You needn't force yourself to remember. Some things are better left forgotten. Perhaps it was fated for you to come here. Perhaps something is missing that you must find. This world must appear like a place of dreams. You should find the Red Queen. Title drop.
Ooh, who is the Red Queen? The missing queen who the White Rabbit spoke was mentioned was the Red Queen, yes. Then came a troubled look. I waited for the White Queen to continue. She hesitated to speak of the Red Queen, as if the elusive royal would appear like a ghost behind her as she spoke. I tried to imagine what sort of person the Red Queen was.
I'm hoping she's hot.
She will let you return to your own reality. When you meet her, you should be able to find all the answers you are seeking for. As for where she is, that is for you to discover.
Do you dislike her?
Yes.
Yes. At first she pursed her lips as if troubled again. Then came that same somber smile.
That's a difficult question, Alice.
So she's like that.
Like that.
Like that, you know.
I'll let you judge the Red Queen. You might learn something new about yourself.
Shall I head off to find her now? Her face lit up a bit.
Why not stay for some tea, dearie?
Of course I'd love to, but it's not quite afternoon tea time yet. She smiled, this time much happier.
A later time, then. Certainly to have tea outside of tea time wouldn't do.
That smile softened into a fond one as she lowered her lids.
I won't keep you for too much longer. Alice, I'm sure you'll be able to find that person soon enough.
Until later.
Later.
I waved goodbye to the White Queen and departed from her garden.
Did you like the voice I gave the White Queen?
Yes, you like Alice's voice now.
Yeah.
That poor smile of hers had turned somber again.
Yeah. I think I accidentally skipped something because it wasn't going, but oh well.
I stepped into a twisting path in the forest. I didn't know which way to go or to find the elusive Red Queen, turning left and right. To find a queen, I thought to seek a castle. However, the rabbit said the queen was missing, so unless the rabbit had also forgotten something very important, the queen shouldn't have been at the castle. The Red Queen. She seemed like a troubling person. The way the White Queen's face froze, tongue stuttering along, at the topic of the Red Queen made me wonder, was the latter queen a tyrant or a fool?
Why not both?
Yeah, why not both? The tutor at home liked to talk about kingship of that sort. To me, either or neither were fine. After all, who was the peasantry to affect the mood of a high queen? High queen. I hummed and walked along with a skip in my step. Just as I reached a rhythm in my stride, I kicked a little something. An animal? That threw me off my beat.
Alice abuses animals.
Yeah. I slowed to a pod, my mood a note dampened. Soon I heard the chatter of a girl a few trees away. Seeing not much civilization here in the forest, I followed the voice of the girl. Although she was chatting, I heard her voice alone. I passed by a few bushes and soon enough found a tea party in the middle of nowhere. At a table set before a tree sat the girl.
What will she sound like?
The white cloth table was littered with all sorts of tea-time things, from a tower with cookies and cupcakes, a rubber duck in it, cake with knives in it, pitchers with dozens of tea bags and stacks of dishes. So Alice is definitely British, but I like to imagine she watches a lot of Southern media, and so instead of getting a British accent as a child, she just started doing a Southern one, and it hasn't gone away.
Nice.
In the center, there even laid a green vase with a dead, plucked apart rose beside it. Some petals sat in the water. She loves me not. The girl had long pink hair with uneven side bangs, pale skin, first eye red and second yellow. A smile was on her features that contrasted with her eye bags.
Same.
Her outfit was just as chaotic as the table. Under her black trench coat was a loose dress shirt tied with a large purple bow. She also wore checkerboard purple pants and white lace-up shoes. On her gloved hands sat two hand puppets, a white hare with a yellow straw hat and a red bow tie, and a gray dormouse with a little pink flower perched in it by her ear. But most glaring of all was her large black top hat wrapped haphazardly in purple ribbons with a piece of paper taped to it.
Hello there, Alice. What do you come here for?
Her chatter ceased. Her mismatched eyes pierced through me in its place. I noticed a little fang in her mouth as she opened it. She's half a vampire. Only one fang.
There's no room here at the table, so do take a seat. No room.
The girl gave a wide grin as she was wont to do frequently. In fact, it was rare the smile was wiped off her face. She moved the puppets on her hand, a sleepy mouse and a mad hare. Looking right to left, I could barely see the ends of the table set for tea. One person in such a large space. Conversely, she also seemed lonely. There's plenty of room, Hatter. Her smile shrunk a bit. To make my point, I took a seat in the large armchair across from the Hatter. The chair stunk of flowers as if to clear away the shadow of an unpleasant previous sitter. I sank back into it comfortably. Then it kept sinking, sinking before I jolted back with a shallow gasp.
There's plenty of crowd. That's rude of you to say, Alice. Not very civil of you to sit down without being invited either.
She granted me a cheeky grin and a wink.
But whatever, let's just treat you as our extra guest for tomorrow.
Not today.
Aren't they the same? Yesterday, today, tomorrow. Every day is never a day different. But since I'd rather not deal with it today, we just treat it as for tomorrow. Dormouse and March don't mind.
You mentioned 3, but I only see 1. She wiggled the puppets on her hands as if to explain everything. 1 was herself, 2 was the first puppet, 3 was the second.
I'm scared Alice might be blind.
Her mad smile became a mad grin once more.
That's a side effect of being Alice. Don't worry, it's just a side effect of being Alice.
She sneered. The pitch of her voice warped.
Don't mind their comments. She is Dormouse and he March Hare.
She paused as if waiting for me to greet the animal puppets. I waited. She waited. Her smile did not falter. In fact, it only widened in anticipation. The silence of the conversation bored me, so I relented to the Mad Hatter's wordless request. I was their guest for tomorrow, so a polite guest I decided to be. Why, hello there. Her smile became ordinary again.
Hold on. I was scared she was deaf as well.
Hello there, Alice.
Exactly.
Yes. It seemed whenever she made the puppets talk, she often took on a more neutral expression and kept her mouth closed like a ventriloquist. Between the puppets, I much preferred the dormouse. If a puppet could fall asleep, she looked like she was about to do so. I felt some pity that it meant the March Hare would speak more.
What were we talking about before? A riddle? Maybe it was this one. Why is a raven like a writing desk?
Do you have to answer that riddle?
You're no fun, Alice. Relax and have some wine.
There is no wine.
You were invited for tea tomorrow, Alice. It's the obligation of the host to offer a guest a drink at tea time.
Maybe she was an alcoholic.
That's right, Alice.
That Hatter, I can't in good faith call this time of day tea time, nor can I call alcohol tea.
Details. Add some butter. It'll be tea time eventually, so it's tea time now. We're having tea, so it might as well be tea time, don't you think? What did you come here for anyways?
Although I couldn't quite say that I'd come to this tea party with a goal in mind, I figured I might as well tell her. I'm searching for the rare queen. Her brow contorted as she took a sip of her tea. Puppets sat down for just that moment. Dumping the tea away and rinsing the cup, she poured herself another drink. Her mismatched eyes narrowed.
Oh. Her.
The Hatter placed her lips to the rim of the teacup and stared at me. A minute passed. All 60 seconds consisted of staring before she ducked down under the table as if to find an item and popped back up again. Her expression was back to its usual state.
Stay and chat for a moment. I'll help you with a little something regarding Her Majesty.
The Hatter poured me a cup of tea and slid over a plate of sandwiches. Ooh, food.
Yay.
The Hatter's smile became wide. The plate hurtled toward me, forcing me to hurriedly grab it lest sandwiches spilled all over my lap. Luckily, the cup of tea arrived much more calmly. I took a taste, finding Earl Grey. Is it tomorrow already? At the very least, it wasn't time for afternoon tea. If I'd known I would have tea now, I would have stayed a little longer to have some with the White Queen as well. It was not that people couldn't have tea outside of afternoon tea, but it was a principle of things. If people drank tea any time of the day, they would drink it all day. I sipped some more, enjoying the citrusy flavor of this black tea.
Today is tomorrow for yesterday, don't you think? Unless she doesn't think, that will be rude of you to ask.
She's just normal.
Or the Colonel?
I'm certainly sitting up quite straight. But regarding the Red Queen, don't you have some news about her?
I'd say I have some business with her instead. Something to do with meat and flesh and all other red things that a Red Queen might have to do with.
Aren't you the Hatter? She grinned widely.
Yes,
Not a butcher?
unless your meat is made out of hat.
While talking about all things unappetizing, I took a bite of a sandwich filled with an ambiguous color.
Alice just took a bite out of human meat, didn't she?
Maybe, I don't know. I don't remember. It's been a while since I played this.
Oh boy.
A milky sweetness melted my mouth. I tasted some sort of fruit inside. Oh, good, it's a fruit sandwich. Maybe it was mango or kiwi or strawberry. What?
Those are
very different.
yeah.
Satisfied with the pleasant sweetness, I took another sip of tea. Oh, that's me. This tea and these sandwiches are delicious.
Thank you, Alice.
You made them. Compliments to you, then. The Hatter grinned with a wink.
Why, such flattery. Since you put me in a good mood, I guess we can go ahead with Her Majesty's matter.
She smiled as if laughing.
In fact, she's been sitting here with us this whole time.
I sat up even straighter in confusion, glancing around. I saw no queens in sight, and a human nor animal besides just the two of us here. Just the two of us. The Hatter rolled a chair over and pulled a cloth off from over the chair's holdings.
Ta-da!
Nausea ran up my spine. On the chair sat a chunk of meat dressed up in tattered human clothes. Still dripping red, the flesh seemed to ripple, undulating. Was it rotting or was it still alive? My head spun as I squinted at the thing. This meat. No, this thing resembled a human torso, with half a neck chopped off limbs, dolled up with what could have been fancy clothes. This was surely human flesh. I sensed an odd familiarity to the torso, but also felt as if I was looking at it from an incorrect angle. This was the torso of a regal woman. This was raw human flesh. See, this is where the horror gets in. This is the Red Queen. The Hatter's eyes narrowed again, brows furrowed, but still smiling. An inappropriate question flitted across my mind. Could we consider it as sitting if it didn't have legs? I suppose yes. I thought you said you weren't a butcher, Hatter. We definitely couldn't consider this a hat. Having just eaten, the strawberry taste in my mouth turned to a meaty texture like raw pork. I could almost taste sweet, rotten fat. Yummy. I swallowed. Her expression returned to normal. I wonder if the Hatter wanted to make me sick. The Hatter gave a wide smile.
Yes, I'm a Hatter.
I closed my eyes and rubbed the bridge of my nose. Too distracted by the surprise, the feeling of my fingers almost felt like wet ground meat, even though I was sure my digits were still attached to my palm. The image lingered uncomfortably behind my eyelids, not with disgust, but with another inexplicable emotion, a negative one for sure. I looked at the torso again, and it seemed so still. I saw exposed bone and a shattered
Trachea.
Yes. The cut must not have been wholly clean, made with a blade sharpened not quite enough, yet also dulled not quite enough. Yes, this was the Red Queen. This is who she is, the torso. I knew not why I knew, but a voice in the back of my head told me that this was the Red Queen. A part of the Red Queen.
I'm afraid Her Majesty can't speak right now.
I'm sorry, the old tailor can't come to the phone right now. Why? Oh.
She's a torso.
The Hatter stirred her tea and popped a bite-sized sandwich into her mouth, munching happily. She sneered.
Don't look like that, Alice.
The Hatter didn't dismember Her Majesty.
Yes, Hatter is innocent.
Since only the Hatter spoke up in her defense, since only the Hatter spoke up in defense of herself, I wasn't particularly inclined to believe her. But whether or not she did kill the Red Queen, the end result sat before me. What should I do now? I murmured my uncertainty at this dead end aloud. She smiled as if nothing was wrong.
What do you mean? All you have to do is find all the other pieces. If you have anything you need Her Majesty for, all you need to do is put her back together. Have you forgotten, Alice?
That sounded mad. So mad I wanted to laugh.
This is Wonderland after all.
All I needed to do was find the pieces. That was right, Alice. That was all you needed to do. It would either be terribly simple or terribly hard. I hoped that no one had fed the Red Queen to the pigs or minced her up for a patty. Regardless, all I really needed was a head and the torso if I wanted to talk to her, to ask her about the secrets to returning home. May I take the body with me? The Hatter narrowed her eyes. Alice, you were a civilized girl. Did you really want to lug around a piece of meat like you were some meat seller, selling to the cannibals? The Hatter winked cheekily.
No, that wouldn't be fair, don't you think? Once you find most of her parts, let's just say the limbs, I'll give you a special present and help you out again.
She patted a box to the side of the table. The box was just big enough for a cat or a cake or maybe something like a hat.
Of course, don't peek to try and find out what the present is. It wouldn't be a surprise like that, and I'll be very, very upset if you cheat.
With that smile on her face, I couldn't see her upset. Only muddled sincerity came through her voice. The Hatter's mismatched eyes wandered, looking distracted as she did so.
Now then, I've got to grab something off the stove before it burns.
Huh? The Hatter got up from her seat and walked away. Here I was alone with the Red Queen's flesh. It was missing all 4 limbs and a head, so to make her whole I would need to find 5 parts. It's like my sow all over again. I hoped that my search would be easy. Seeing as the Hatter was nowhere in sight, I contemplated a decision regarding that curious box on the table.
Yeah, you haven't touched save 8.
No. I try to keep them all in the same area.
Yeah. Well.
Well, I tipped over to the other side of the table and surveyed what was around. I couldn't help but feel the headless slab of human watching me, but I ignored the Red Queen's body, knowing that I would be seeing it often enough. Looking over my shoulder, I was certain that the Hatter had yet to return. I moved to find the present box on the cluttered table. The Hatter hadn't tied up the box particularly at all. I could open it and close it as if I had never disturbed this mysterious prize to begin with. I cracked open a small gap so that nothing could come flying out. Good idea.
I am Pandora.
Yes. Nothing escaped from the box, and so I heard a strange, strangled noise from whatever lied inside. A gurgling, drowning voice that caused chills to settle on the back of my neck. In one go, I took off the lid of the box. Inside was a head.
Ooh.
A bloodied head.
Flesh.
The head seemed so familiar, but I couldn't quite make out the face as if the box had been jostled. The hair had become so matted with blood, the exact hue of its light hair color was difficult to make heads or tails of. I squinted. Spinning, the world was spinning! A sharp pain burst through my temple, and I rested a palm on my head to stop a growing, pulsing headache in my skull. I reached out a shaking hand to adjust the head in the box. Step, step, step. Footsteps interrupted me.
I thought I only just said not to peek, Alice.
The Hatter brandished a hammer in her hand, the head and face a glowing red as if it had been left on the stove. Uh-oh.
She did leave something on the stove.
Oh, yeah.
Cheaters get what cheaters deserve.
I backed up, crashing into the table, nearly tripping on my own cloak. She raised her arm with the hammer in hand and...
Ooh.
Crack.
Dead end.
Yay! Death won!
Yay. There will be many more.
Yes. Oh, that's from me.
Oh, that's for you.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow, what a short game. Anyways.
Yeah.
Time to be good, Alice.
I shook my head. Instead of antagonizing the Hatter needlessly, I decided to take another sip of tea. I would see what was inside the box, eventually. The Hatter returned soon enough. Her puppets were absent, rather. In her hand was a hammer, glowing bright with heat. She chucked it to the side with a thump and let the metal sizzle on the ground. What was the hammer for? She grinned.
Does a hammer need a reason to be? Anyways, go. Go ahead and try to find some of the Red Queen's body. An arm, a head, or maybe two. Just bring them back here for me to
Two
attach
heads?
to this.
2 heads?
Yeah. Why not?
She pointed to the torso.
It'll still be tea time when you come back. Let's just count you as an extra guest for the next tomorrow as well.
To be exact with time, now is still not tea time. I suppose there's not much else to do here. The Hatter's expression dampened a bit as I responded. I looked at my empty cup of Earl Grey and lifted myself up from the armchair. For what it was worth, I quite enjoyed this odd hour tea. Shaking my legs just to make sure they hadn't fallen asleep, I started to leave. Until later.
Auf Wiedersehen.
She leaned back into her chair and made a lazy wave my way. Somehow she looked lonely. I returned to another forest path, walking forward and forward. After moving for a while, I realized that I had no idea where I was going. In simpler words, I was lost. I walked around in a few circles before looking upward. Above, I saw a cat. A cat who resembled a girl, or a girl who resembled a cat, leisurely stood on the tall branch of a tree. She had sharp green-yellow eyes, pale skin, a cat-like smile. Her brown hair was tied into a ponytail with an orange ribbon. Her 2 cat ears on top of her head looked quite fluffy. She wore an orange cape with 3 black stripes and a fluffy white collar, with a tattered short black dress underneath. Adorned around her neck was a collar with a bell. Her one visible arm had a shackle around the wrist of her clawed hands. There appeared to be something like stitches at the point where her arm and shoulder connected. Unlike the white rabbit, this cat, the Cheshire Cat, I couldn't help but wonder if she was actually neither a cat nor a girl and was just pretending to be either. I met her cat eyes, nodding in silent greeting. Her grin stretched across her face as she stared right back. Sharp teeth filled her mouth and claws adorned her hands. This was probably a cat. Cheshire. The flame that was her tail flickered, and she hopped down to meet me closer. I don't suppose you could tell me which way I should go? Her eyes narrowed in amusement. I posed a silly question that I expected no answer for. After all, I was asking a cat for directions.
Depends on where you want to go.
To my surprise, I received a response. to find the Red Queen.
Ah, the crazy one. Are you sure you'd prefer not to go with the nice one?
The one I'm searching for is the Red Queen.
Alright, the Mad Queen. Then again, we're all mad around here. That is, except for Her Majesty the White Queen. She's too sad to be mad. If you're looking for the Red Queen, up, up, down, down, left, right might help.
The cat jeered.
Self-awareness, Alice. Self-awareness.
The Cheshire Cat vanished into thin air. Oh, soon enough she reappeared.
Just go to the White Queen instead. Maybe you'll find something on the way.
She started to fade away again before popping back.
I forgot to ask, how's the hat doing?
Crazy. She seems to be fine. It's still tea time over there.
It's always tea time with that one.
A third time she disappeared, leaving a grin lingering in the air before that too vanished. This was a grin without a cat, instead of a cat without a grin. The third time was the charm. The cat did not return. I can't say I've seen a cat quite like that before. Then again, Cheshire wasn't really a cat. Walking a few tree lengths more, I mulled over the odd advice she gave.
Yeah.
I tried to remember just what the Cheshire Cat said, speaking the pattern of directions aloud to a beat. Up, up, down, down, left, right. I felt as if I missed a few items, but that was all the cat had given. I backtracked to the position where I met the cat and followed the recommended directions. Soon enough, I found myself at a crossroad. I saw no limbs or head in sight. Left was labeled right, right was labeled left. With wrongly written signboards, I chose at a random with nowhere to go next. Every few meters, I found a new signboard with its own quaintly marked arrow. Whether or not they led to the right place was another issue. I slowed my pace to read the signs and followed them along. Today's a rainy day. I didn't know which genius thought to put a forecast on a wooden sign on the side of the road, but I followed the direction to go right regardless. The sky had not a drop of rain in sight. Warning, cliff ahead.
Time to jump.
Oh, as if it happened. Neither there was a cliff ahead. No cliff. Watch out for dragons.
Dragging these nuts.
Jeez. I looked for the dragons, but the dragons did not arrive. Oh no.
Battery saver is on.
Uh-oh. Yeah, we might have to stop.
Yeah. I guess title.
Yeah.